Tomb Raider is a 2018 action-adventure film directed by Roar Uthaug, with a screenplay by Geneva Robertson-Dworet and Alastair Siddons, from a story by Evan Daugherty and Robertson-Dworet. An American and British co-production, it is based on the 2013 video game of the same name, with some elements of its sequel by Crystal Dynamics, a reboot, and the third installment in the Tomb Raider film series. The film stars Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft, who embarks on a perilous journey to her father's last known destination, hoping to solve the mystery of his disappearance. Dominic West, Walton Goggins, Daniel Wu, and Kristin Scott Thomas appear in supporting roles. Principal photography lasted from January to June 2017 and took place at Warner Bros. Studios, Leavesden in Hertfordshire, England, and Cape Town, South Africa. The film was also shot on location across London, particularly East London. The first Tomb Raider film not to be distributed by Paramount Pictures, it was released in the United Kingdom on March 14, 2018, and in the United States on March 16, 2018, by Warner Bros. Pictures, in RealD 3D, IMAX 3D, IMAX, and 4DX. The film grossed $274 million worldwide, the same as the 2001 film of the same name and more than its 2003 sequel, although it needed to gross at least $275 million to break even. Tomb Raider received mixed reviews from critics, with some describing the plot as painted by the numbers, and others praising the action sequences, tone, grittiness, and realistic take on the franchise. Vikander's performance and the characterization of Croft drew a polarized response. Some described her as a capable, powerful, and unobjectified heroine, while others called her bland, and a punching bag and onlooker. A sequel is in development. Following the disappearance of her father, Lord Richard Croft, Lara Croft makes a living as a bike courier. She is arrested after a collision with a police car. Richard's business partner Anna Miller posts her bail and urges Lara to accept her inheritance. Lara believes her father to still be alive, but Miller warns Lara that if she does not claim her inheritance, the family estate, Croft Manor, will be sold off. Lara reluctantly accepts and gains access to a secret chamber in her father's tomb, where she finds a pre-recorded video message from Richard detailing his research into Himiko, the mythical queen of Yamatai who was said to command the power over life and death. Richard warns Lara to destroy his research, but she ignores his warnings and investigates further. Not yet having received her inheritance, Lara is forced to pawn the jade pendant her father gave her. With the money, Lara travels to Hong Kong, where she hires Lu Ren, captain of the ship Endurance, to sail into the Devil's Sea and the island of Yamatai. The ship capsizes in a violent storm and Lara has washed ashore, where she is knocked unconscious. She awakens only to encounter Matthias Fogel, the leader of an expedition to locate Himiko's tomb. The expedition has been funded by a shadowy organization called Trinity, which seeks to harness and weaponize Himiko's power. Fogel takes Lara prisoner, claiming that he killed her father and revealing that he intends to use Richard's research to continue his expedition. He adds Lara and Lu Ren to his slave force. The two of them try to escape, but only Lara succeeds. After surviving rapids and narrowly avoiding falling over a waterfall with the wreck of a wartime airplane, Lara is forced to kill a Trinity guard after nightfall. She follows a mysterious figure through the jungle and discovers that the figure is her father, who stayed on the island to prevent Trinity from finding Himiko's tomb. After Lara convinces him that she is real and not a figment of his imagination, Richard treats her injuries. Despite his protests, Lara sets off the next morning to steal Fogel's satellite phone. Lara makes contact with Lu Ren, and he, along with the other slaves, stage a distraction that allows Lara to infiltrate the Trinity camp and take the phone. In the ensuing chaos, Lu Ren commandeers an assault rifle, provides cover for the escapees, and guns down several Trinity soldiers, while Richard makes his way to Himiko's tomb but is captured by Fogel, who persuades Lara to open the tomb, something she has prepared for since she was a child. At that point, the entrance to the tomb self-destructs and falls away, allowing the party to enter the tomb, which has not been seen for over 2,000 years. The party navigates a series of booby traps and locates Himiko's sarcophagus. When a Trinity soldier attempts to remove her corpse, he is infected by a highly infectious pathogen that reduces those infected to an aggressive zombie-like state. Lara realizes that Himiko was an asymptomatic carrier of the virus, who chose to entomb herself so that she could not infect others. Fogel concludes that Trinity wants to create a bioweapon out of her body, but he cannot remove Himiko's body and instead settles for detaching a finger, which he seals in a pouch. In the confusion, Lara and Richard overpower the remaining soldiers, although Fogel escapes and Richard becomes infected. Knowing there is no cure, Richard proposes destroying Himiko's tomb to prevent the disease from spreading across the world. Lara pursues Fogel as Richard sets off a bomb, killing himself and sealing the tomb. Lara confronts and kills Fogel by infecting him with the finger. She escapes the tomb as it collapses, regrouping with Lu Ren and the slaves. They commandeer a Trinity helicopter to escape Yamatai. Lara returns to London, where she formally accepts her inheritance and inadvertently discovers that Trinity's front company, Patna, is a subsidiary of Croft Holdings. She investigates further and suspects Anna is an agent of Trinity and manipulated her into accepting her inheritance to take control of Croft Holdings' business operations when Richard stopped cooperating with Trinity. Having witnessed Trinity's ruthlessness firsthand, she prepares for her next adventure. Later, Lara returns to Alan's pawnshop to buy back her pendant and also purchases 2 identical pistols. Critical response: on Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 52% based on 320 reviews and an average rating of the 5th of May 2010. The website's critical consensus reads, Tomb Raider reboots the franchise with a more grounded approach and a star who's more than up to the task, neither of which are well served by an uninspired origin story. At the time of its release, it was the best-reviewed movie based on a video game on the site. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 48 out of 100, based on 52 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of B on an A+ to F scale, the same score earned by the 2001 film. Post-track reported filmgoers gave it a 70% positive score. Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune gave the film 2 out of 4 stars and said, "The Lara Croft reboot Tomb Raider isn't half bad for an hour. Then there's another hour. That hour is quite bad. It's no fun watching your action heroine get shoved, punched, and kicked to the sidelines of her movie, while the menfolk take over and take turns overacting before expiring." Todd McCarthy of The Hollywood Reporter gave the film a mixed review, criticizing the story but praising Vikander, and writing, "When all the one-dimensional supporting characters and familiar action moves fall by the wayside, the one thing left standing is Vikander." The film strains credulity even for a vid-game fantasy by letting the leading lady recover quickly from bad injuries, but other than that Vikander commands attention and is the element here that makes Tomb Raider sort of watchable. Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian gave it 2 out of 5 and wrote, "Throughout Vikander maintains a kind of serene evenness of manner. Blandness is Lara's theme." Owen Gleiberman of Variety praised the film, saying that the exciting surprise of the new Tomb Raider, directed by the Norwegian genre specialist Roar Uthaug, is that it doesn't tamp down Vikander's inner flame, or the three-dimensionality of her talent. It doesn't fold and insert her into an overly gymnastic and CGI-happy thrill ride. The movie is full of vine swinging, bow and arrow shooting, ancient spirit-meeting action, but most of it is staged on a convincing human scale, one that's been expertly tailored to its star's understated directness. Matt Zoller Sites of RogerEbert.com gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, and said, "This is a beautifully crafted and unpretentious piece of action cinema, with several sequences that are as gorgeous as they are thrilling, and a female hero who's as elegant as she is deadly, an ass-kicking Audrey Hepburn." IndieWires and Thompson wrote that Tomb Raider was a well-mounted, intelligently wrought adventure, more grounded in the real world than its fantasy predecessors, and that it establishes the action bona fides of both Vikander and director Roar Uthaug.